Is Radical Heights the next big game? So this game kinda came out of nowhere, or at least it did for me. I want to give my review on what I think so far and my impressions. I've put over 40 hours into the game, won a bunch of games, earned over 75,000, bought the Founders Edition, and accumulated hundreds of kills. From the same developers of the game Lawbreakers comes an 80s inspired, cheesy, over-the-top third-person Battle Royale game. It looks like Saints Row and Crackdown, but plays like Fortnite in a mix of H1Z1 with some PUBG shooting mechanics, and that's quite pleasing. You can play solos or hop in with a friend with squads coming later. The concept is really unique. You're a contestant on a game show, but it's basically a Battle Royale, and it's set inside of a dome inside of Hollywood Hills, well, the fictional version, which is called Radical Heights. And you're basically a badass action hero who takes no fall damage and can somersault in midair, making films like Kung Fury or The Last Action Hero feel implemented in its DNA. So don't take it too serious. But it follows the traditional BR antics for the most part, and brings a lot of unique elements with it. Instead of having a circle that shrinks, it follows a grid that tunnels players into battle, almost always forcing conflict into the mid-game. There's no parachute, and instead you land immediately and you're off to the races to find a weapon. And it's much faster paced because of this, which is welcoming coming from a slower paced PUBG Miramar experience like I'm used to. There's a unique cash system that's rewarding and useful, allowing you to purchase weapons if you can't find any. If you know the map, you can drop at an ATM, take a huge risk withdrawing all this money at a limited $100 at a time, and buy a random weapon nearby, and you'll be right in the fight. You can also buy gear and armor as well, but this is money that you've earned from playing and can be lost as quick as it's gained if you die, only leaving you with a percentage. You can punch cash registers to collect money as well, and you can pick up random gifts and open them to get even more money. You can also choose if you want to gamble your money by taking out more at the end of the game. And if you're confident you can win, you'll be rewarded by doubling what you have in your pocket. Or you can deposit what you have and play it safe, stacking that bread. It's addicting and rewarding and gives you a reason to win. And with that cash, you can buy limited cosmetics that pull from 80s styles, including Jordan 7s, all-white Air Force 1s, Doc Marten boots, mesh shirts, Rockstar-inspired outfits, all the way to Ultimate Warrior wrestling fantasies. With the Founders Pack, you get a bunch of legendary options as well, but you also have the option to find items in the world which vary in rarity by the same color design seen in so many games. You know, gray being the most common and purple, which is legendary, being the most rare. And this is how the weapon system works too. The rarer the color, the more accurate and the more attachments the weapon will have. You can get suppressors and scopes, which really come in handy for ADSing long range, and even more rounds in the magazine, allowing you to unleash a flurry of bullets at your opponent. The shooting is similar to Fortnite and H1Z1, with an ADS mechanic like PUBG, but it's got a good balance. It's relatively simple but fun and satisfying. You can even switch shoulders in third person, allowing you to abuse that third person camera if you want to. And of course, third person aiming seems really strong, and the ADS only really needed at longer distances for precise shots, or with a sniper. You can roll all types of ways, allowing you to outplay your opponent as well, and you can crouch and you can prone, which doesn't provide a lot of movement, but still, it can be utilized effectively, and it's nice to have options. Where you aim is pretty much where your bullets go most of the time. There is bloom though. Hit registration feels great, and I haven't noticed any desync at all, which is really strange, but I'm not complaining. Time to kill is very low, and if you don't have armor, you'll get shredded by a good player. The shooting rewards precision and technique, as some guns actually require recoil control. Overall, the gun mechanics feel really good and responsive. It's just satisfying to shoot and get a kill, and an enemy explodes into a mess of blood and confetti, spilling all his loot on the ground. The looting is similar to Fortnite. There's no tab looting, but instead looting an item and hitting the interact button will pick it up. But it sometimes causes you to switch your weapon or pick up the wrong item by accident. This really hurts efficiency. Fortnite solved this by allowing you to pull out your pickaxe to avoid picking up the wrong weapon, and I see something like that working well here too, but instead just putting your weapon away. Using your inventory is simple and useful, and it allows you to drag and drop items or rearrange them in your order, but currently there's no way to split ammo or items, and I'm sure this will be implemented in the future. The items are pretty unique as well, and they range from noisemakers to decoys to Rec C4 that can be used to launch you across the map, really allowing for some creative badass moments. Trampolines also provide ways to be creative, and you can use the high ground to get the upper hand on an opponent. You can also eat a burger to boost your adrenaline and your health regeneration, and that's just satisfying. There's just something about being able to run around and eat several oversized Royales with cheese that feels so damn good. Maybe it's the comical munch sound. The game also features bicycles, although very buggy and hard to control, provide some hilarious and fun moments. They're useful and they're much faster to move around the map on. You can even still fire your SMG, although you won't see the animation of you actually firing, so it can be a little bit confusing. But it does feel a lot like GTA 5 when you're riding a bike, actually very similar in terms of control, minus the bugginess and the losing control and all that, yeah. There's also random events going on during your game, giving you something to chase in mid-game and earn even more money, funneling more players into combat as well. There's a bike race that can reward you with the most coveted exclusive level 4 legendary armor, and pretty much guarantees a win if you're half decent at the game. A cash drop will rain down money but make you a vulnerable target while you collect it. Then there's the supply drops. They drop a spin wheel that's called Spin to Win that gives you random high level loot. You can also pick up an item that resembles a large 80s style cell phone that will call in your own personal care package, always rewarding you with a level 3 armor and a med kit. It's awesome.
The showcase shootout is about to start. Who will be the last one standing? Will it be you?
To get to the end of the game, you're rewarded with a climactic announcement and a final shootout circle, where the rest of the map turns pitch black and you face off with your opponents in a constantly unforgiving shrinking circle, forcing you to move or get center position as you fight. It's intense, frantic, and enjoyable. And when you win, the iconic song plays as you dance and lavish in your riches that get doubled. I know a lot of people have been talking about bots in the game, and yes, I have noticed them. They do fill up the lobbies when there's not enough players, and sometimes they can even make their way into the endgame. The bots are very dumb and basically just target practice, but they're convenient to get you in a game quickly if the lobby hasn't filled, making queue times, although sometimes long, not unbearable. Now the map is far from finished or textured, and there's plenty of bugs and sloppy animations, and the optimization is terrible, as I can only get 60 to 85 FPS on pretty much all low settings with a 7700K and a 1070. Making this game really hard to run on lower end machines and really hurting the player base, but nonetheless, it is extreme early access and the game has only been in development for 5 months. Like I said, the devs who created Lawbreakers made this as a side passion project, and I think this has more potential than Lawbreakers ever did. At the end of the day, this is a battle royale, and that genre is blossoming right now. And I think with the right support, hard work, and transparency in terms of communication, this game could be the next big thing to rival Fortnite and PUBG, as it has that perfect middle ground of both of those. Personally, I'm addicted, and I'm loving the game so far, despite the shortcomings. Also free to play, so yeah, you really can't go wrong trying this out, and after you play a few games and get the feel for it, I think you're going to enjoy it. Overall, this game has extreme potential, and I'll be here for the long run to support it and make content on it. If I had to give this game a rating, right now, even though it's in extreme early access and buildings aren't even textured and it's buggy as hell, I would give it a 7.5. It's just fun, you overlook all the problems, and it's only going to get better. Just maybe it could be. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay tuned for more. Peace.